Hi, I'm Kathryn Hansen. I'm the author of Brain Over Binge and the Brain Over Binge Recovery Guide. And I'm here today to share some insights that I've had recently about what I teach in Brain Over Binge and the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Now, if you're like me and listen to a lot of self-help podcasts, you've likely heard of the Let Them Theory. Mel Robbins' podcast, as I'm recording this, I think is now the number one podcast, and she just released a book called The Let Them Theory at the end of December. And this is an amazing book, and I'm going to link it in the show description. As I heard about this theory on her podcast and as I went through the book, there were so many things that came up for me that I thought, oh, wow, that could really apply to people trying to recover from binge eating or really any sort of negative habit or addiction. And I got really excited about it, and I actually reached out to Mel Robbins' team to see if she would be interested in having a conversation with me about it on the Brain Over Binge podcast. And I wasn't really expecting a yes because, I mean, she was on Oprah recently, but it can't hurt to try. And her team responded very, very kindly and thanked me for the offer, but declined. And I really thought that these ideas need to get out there. So, even without Mel Robbins, I hope to do my best to share some of the insights I've had and some ways you could apply them in your own life. The basic idea of the let them theory is to basically stop trying to control other people, to really let people do whatever people do, and then learn to manage your own reactions and how you respond. We all have that experience of just getting so upset and frustrated about events happening around us or what our family or friends or romantic partner or just people we see in day-to-day life are doing. And we think, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. They should be doing things differently. And having all of these thoughts in our minds as we go about our life really just ends up bringing us down. It's just about realizing that people aren't perfect and everyone sees things in a different way, and really allowing people to have their own thoughts and behaviors without spending a lot of our own energy trying to control it, because that's really a losing battle. And I know a lot of you can relate to that. Now, it's a long book, and I'm definitely summarizing here, but the idea is when things happen that typically may have stressed you out as far as like what others are doing, you simply say, let them. And immediately it diffuses the power that that situation or that circumstance or that person had over you. And the let them theory doesn't end at let them. There's another very important part of the theory, which is let me. And that is about realizing that what you do have control of is your own reactions and your own actions. I'm going to read a little excerpt from chapter 2. Mel Robbins said, "The source of your power is not in managing other people, it's in managing your response. When you say let me, you're tapping into that power by taking responsibility for what you do, think, or say next. Let me is the part where you realize you are in control of what happens next." Those are the two basic parts of the theory, let them and let me. And now I'm going to transition to talking about how you could apply this as you recover from binge eating, as you let go of any negative habit or behavior. First, I want to talk about this theory as it relates to dealing with other people or circumstances or outside events as you're trying to recover. And then I also want to talk about this theory in relation to dealing with the harmful thoughts in your own mind. And I think there's a really powerful connection here that you can use to diffuse the power of any urges or any habitual desires to perform a behavior that you want to quit. In terms of dealing with other people, there are countless ways that this could apply, and I'm going to share some examples, and then I know you'll be able to think of your own examples as well from your own life. In eating disorder recovery, a really important piece is letting go of dieting, letting go of this desire to maintain an unsustainable weight for your unique body, and learning to nourish yourself. And as you do this, you're going to see a lot of examples out in the world of people who are not doing this. You're going to see diets being promoted. You're going to see people promoting unsustainable weight loss. You're going to see advertisements for weight loss, and there's not much you can do to control this. Yes, you can choose what social media accounts to follow. There's things you can do to manage what you see, but you can't avoid it all. So when you come across unhealthy weight messages out in the world, you can simply say, let them. And let me stay on a healthy path of learning to nourish my body. When you see someone talking about going keto or paleo or restricting calories or doing something you know has harmed you in the past and you know is not healthy for you going forward, it's easy to get worked up and think, well, maybe I need to be doing that. What's wrong with me? And to avoid all this mental stress, you can simply say, let them and let me continue on my healthy path of learning to eat adequately and learning to stop the harmful behaviors with food. Let me do what's right for me. And that goes for anyone that we see eating. And that's going to happen a lot, right? We're in restaurants, we're at social events, we're eating with friends and family. And it's easy to judge other people. It's easy to judge ourselves. It's easy to compare ourselves to other people. And if you just simply step back and say, let them, you can just allow people to have whatever eating habits they have and realize they're on their own journey. Different things work for different people, and you don't know the rest of the story. Like when you see someone eating at one meal, you don't know what the rest of their day has been like. So just telling yourself, let them, and then let me choose what's right for me in this moment or in this meal right now. And this goes for exercise as well. If you see someone promoting an exercise program and you start to judge yourself and judge them, again, you say, let them. And they need to do what's right for their own body, and you need to do what's right for your own body. Another important one I thought of was when people comment on your body or on your weight or on what you're eating. There have been people I've worked with over the years that have had friends and family members or acquaintances or coworkers who can't seem to stop making comments about food or weight or other people's bodies. And when you say let them to this, it's not that you resign just to hear this all the time or resign to never standing up for yourself or others. It just means you can't always control what comes out of their mouth. If you truly want to spend time with that person, you can use let me to decide how you're going to make a request. And you can also use let me to decide what sort of boundaries you're going to set in terms of being with this person or what you will do if they do make one of those comments. You can choose to remove yourself from the situation. You can choose to change the topic. It's always about giving yourself your own agency and your own resourcefulness to figure out what you're going to do next. And these are definitely things that I've helped people with over the years, but having this phrase of let them just makes it so simple and so powerful. And I know it's not just me that has shared some of these ideas in eating disorder recovery. I mean, the idea that you need to do what's best for you and not worry about what other people are doing. This is definitely a common concept as you're trying to let go of harmful food and weight behaviors. But having this simple tool of let them and let me just gives you something in the moment that you can think that reminds you of what you're trying to do. And even Mel Robbins describes that what she's sharing in her book is not necessarily new. She talks about how her theory is kind of a modern day way to apply some deep philosophical concepts. I mean, if we think of Buddhism and Stoicism or mindfulness meditation and just different ideas that have been taught for thousands of years that help us realize we're not in control of all our circumstances, but we can remain steady in our own presence and we can not be as affected by all of these outside influences. Now I want to transition from using the let them theory to deal with outside influences or other people to dealing with our own thoughts and what's arising in our own minds. And this is really where the connection with brain over binge is. This goes beyond what Mel Robbins shares in her book, and this is really more of my own interpretation of it. And I wanted to share it here because I think the genius of Mel Robbins and what she shares, combined with some of the things I teach, could give you a really simple, powerful way to diffuse the urges in the moment and help you stop responding to them so that you can break this habit and move on with your life. Since 2011, when I wrote my first book, I've been teaching people that the urges to binge aren't really from your true self. These urges to binge are not really you. They are a product of this primitive part of our brain. This part of your brain is what I call the lower brain, and it's responsible for our survival. It's responsible for our habits. It's responsible for seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. It's not responsible for our higher goals, what we truly want for ourselves. It's not responsible for who we perceive ourselves to be. It's not responsible for our identity. In Brain Over Binge, I wrote about how I did not always believe this. There was a point that I thought My urges to binge were something deep and meaningful. I thought they were a symptom of an underlying problem or emotion or some way I was trying to cope. I really gave these urges a lot of attention. I tried to determine what their deeper meaning was. I tried to determine what triggered them. I tried to make them go away. I tried making adjustments to my day to day life. I tried resolving depression, resolving anxiety. Now, I go into that in a lot more detail in Brain Over Binge, but the short version of the story is that I realized that just wasn't helpful. And I learned that despite any of my other problems, it was really the urges that were driving each and every binge. And these urges actually didn't indicate anything that I actually wanted or needed. It was just my brain basically in this loop. By first dieting and sending my brain into a survival response that created the first urges to binge, and then acting on them over and over and over, I basically trained my brain to think binges were necessary. So these urges would come up all the time. And people who have urges to binge or urges to perform any negative behavior or addiction know that the voice can sound a lot like you. It can provide justifications, rationalizations, it can tell you all the reasons that you deserve to do the behavior. It can remind you of all the temporary pleasure you get from the behavior. It can not remind you of the pain you're going to experience afterward. And what I realized when I read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins is that's basically what I learned to do with my urges to binge. I learned to just to let them do what they did, to let them create the justifications, to let them remind me of the pleasure, and just not to take it seriously. And I also learned to let me not act on them. I learned that I actually had control all along. I just didn't know how to exercise that control. I learned that regardless of what was going on in my brain, regardless of how appealing the urges were making the binge seem, I didn't have to follow through with it. I had that ability to just let the urges do whatever they did and go in a different direction. I could do any number of other behaviors. I could do nothing at all. I could just let the urges be there and not have to respond to them. I feel like I've described this in so many ways over the years. I talk a lot about detaching from the urges. I talk a lot about separating your true self or separating your higher brain from your lower brain and from those primitive drives. I talk about dismissing those urges, dismissing all of those thoughts and justifications. I talk about not giving attention to those urges. I talk about not taking them seriously. I talk about not letting them be meaningful or valuable to you. But all of this can kind of be summarized into one simple phrase: let them. What actually motivated me to record this was a conversation I had with a client a couple of days ago, and I didn't tell her anything about what I had been thinking with the let them theory. I didn't tell her that I had reached out to Mel Robbins' team to see if she could be on the podcast, but she told me that she started using let them with her own urges. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking the same thing, and it's been working for her. She said that when she has the urges and when she hears those familiar justifications for the binge, she simply says, let them, and let me choose what I'm going to do. And it's just such a simple tool that you can use in that moment. So I just really wanted to share it with everyone because it takes a lot of what I teach about the urges not really being you and boils it down to something really simple and applicable. And you can apply this to so many other types of thoughts that are getting in your way in recovery, like desires to go on a strict diet. Like I talked about earlier, you may see advertisements for dieting, you may see someone else dieting, and you may have thoughts urging you to do the same. And you can simply say, let them, and let me continue to nourish myself and continue to focus on my recovery. Just the idea that all of our thoughts don't represent our truth is life changing. It definitely changed my life in relation to overcoming binge eating. I know it's changed so many people's lives in different ways, and it's definitely an idea that's been around for a long time, as Mel Robbins talks about. I mean, these are ideas that stem from the ancient wisdom traditions, but we can use them today. And I think that's what's so powerful about her book is it really simplifies things and it really gives you a practical tool that you can use in the moment that you're feeling activated. Whether that's because of something that happened in our external environment, like because of something that someone else did or said, or whether it's something that's arising in our internal environment, stemming from our own thoughts. So, to end this discussion, I really want to just thank Mel Robbins for giving the world such a powerful tool and a powerful way to reframe what's happening around us. And I hope that some of the things I said will also help you reframe what's arising inside of you. When you use let them with circumstances and people and thoughts, it really puts you in the best position to make the choices that are right for you. You can let go of trying to control others. You can let go of trying to control every urge or every thought that pops into your head. And when you do that, then you can use let me to continue your healing and to continue to determine what's right for you and to continue to become the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll get the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. The link is in the show description. And then also my book, Brain Over Binge, which is in the show description as well. And as I end every podcast episode, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have the power to change your brain and live a binge-free life.